Name a movie that, as an adult, makes you cry.
Ooh, Cats.
No. Like, not like what have I done with my life kind of tears.
Oh, okay.
Like emotional,
right?
Like, oh, that's so sad, or like, oh, happy tears, or like, whatever.
Oh, like maybe Lord of the Rings. I don't know.
Yeah. There's moments, especially Return of the King.
Yeah,
Return of the King, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking you were going to say Castaway.
Oh, sure.
But maybe not. So before you say anything, I've been thinking about this all day, and I want to say this as a hot take.
Please.
I stand by the fact that if you can make it through, you don't have to cry, but you should at least, like, your eyes should, like, well up a little, but you should, like, there should be a little bit of condensation forming around your tear ducts while watching Castaway. And if it doesn't, then you are a horrible human being. Whew. I'm saying that ready, prepared for you to say this movie doesn't make me cry, and then I'm going to stand by it and say, well, then you're a horrible human being. And I don't know what else to,
So you're saying, you're prepared to say it if I say it didn't make me cry. I'm just trying to get you clear. Like, are you anticipating that's what I'm going to say?
No, I have full confidence that, like every other decent human being, you well up a little bit.
Yeah.
At least during the Wilson scene, which I don't even find the whole him in the water thing as sad as him on the next shot of him just crying on the raft.
Right.
But you cry during Castaway, right? Or you at least feel, maybe you're not in a crying spot, and so you don't actually, you don't have tears running down your face, but your eyes get a little watery, correct?
So I'm going to say yes, they do. And they did specifically when I watched it this time. But when we get into the nitty gritty, it's going to be a bit of a hot take or a little bit of a plot twist on which scene made me do so. And I think it might surprise you. But
interesting. And I can add to that too, because I watched the film. I showed the film to someone who's never seen it this time. And they said something similar. They're like, yes, the Wilson scene got me, but not as much as this other scene. And I was like, really? So we can talk about that in a minute. But
please.
Hello and welcome.
Well, hello and welcome, and some housekeeping to get out of the way. Obviously, this is a Castaway episode, but we're doing another film from 2000 because we did a vote way back when, and Gone in 60 Seconds and Unbreakable were dead upon arrival. But
yep. Which I was sad about Unbreakable. I had hopes.
I had hopes for Gone in 60 Seconds because I've heard some people talk about it. But Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and Castaway were not only incredibly strong and well received, but they were, I think quite literally, I've got the vote here. So they were tied as far as votes, and it was like to the finish line. It was just incredibly back and forth.
I think it was popular vote versus like Patreon boosted vote.
Yeah. And I mean, specifically, we can do shout outs like Andrew, Emily, and Brenna both used their Patreon flex and kind of helped push that vote forward. So long and the short of it is we're doubling up on the year 2000 and we're doing Castaway.
Yeah, we are. Okay, thank you.
I do have a trivia question to start things off a bit.
Okay, and I'm on board.
It's more of a conversation starter, and it'll kind of like be a trivia question, and then we'll just it'll steamroll us right into the episode.
I'm excited for this because I would like to think I know a great deal about this film.
Sure. Well,
but having said that, I'm also so eager and open to learning things I don't know about the film. So it's a win-win here.
Well, actually, it's not a win-win because it's not about the film itself. It's about the year in 2000 and the film year specifically.
Oh my God. Okay.
So this is a question, And just free, like, it's just, can you name it or not? If you can't, I'll just tell it to you, and then that'll lead into our conversation. But can you name the film from 2000 which won the Oscar for Best Picture?
Is it multiple choice?
No, I just want you to just tell me.
Oh, 2000. I mean, I'm not looking at a list of.
I'll give you.
films
I can
from
give you a
2000.
choice. You'll just know it right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first will be Chocolat. The second is Aaron Brockovich.
Ooh, okay.
The third is Castaway. And
Okay.
the fourth is Gladiator.
Oh, it's got to be Gladiator.
Yeah. So Gladiator won Best Picture and it won Best Actor. So Russell Crowe got an Oscar and the film got an Oscar. And I felt it was
Okay.
relevant to bring that up because we
Were they all nominated?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Those are just
Because
random.
those all seem like, I mean, Aaron Brockovich, maybe not Chocolat so much.
Yeah.
Although it does seem like the Oscar bait kind of
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, those films all received Oscar noms, but not necessarily Best Picture.
Castaway must have received Best Picture.
I'm not sure if it got. I think it got a nomination for like Best Picture, but
Yeah.
obviously didn't win.
Yeah, I'm not saying I think it won. I'm just saying it must have been nominated.
And so the reason I bring it up is because we've reviewed Gladiator before, so that's a reason it wasn't a vote option. And this might upset Andrew, but
Well, that's what I'm here for.
I'm watching. We've watched both these films now, and I loved Castaway so much more than Gladiator. And I think,
Oh, yeah.
I think Castaway just has so much more raw emotional storytelling that Gladiator. I think Gladiator was more appealed to me when I liked action things a bit more, and now it's just a movie with action scenes that you kind of get through to get to the story. And Castaway just gets rid of the action, and it's just about the story. But the reason I brought all this up,
I
Go
would
ahead.
say that, Gladiator is like a Joe Louis. It's chocolatey. It's moist. It's got a cream filling. It's friggin' delicious.
it's got Joaquin
However,
Phoenix, just
it's
like a
got
Joe
Joaquin
Louis,
Phoenix,
just like Joe Louis.
Just like a Joe Louis. Yeah. And so, and there's nothing wrong with a Joe Louis.
Nothing
I mean, a Joe
wrong.
Louis is a Joe Louis.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like a half, like a whole Joe Louis. But if Gladiator is a Joe Louis, then Castaway is the chocolate cake from Matilda. It's like this moist, decadent, just waiting to be, So
So
it's just there's no competition.
Oh, I hear you. So the reason I brought this up is Gladiator won Best Picture, which kudos, good for them. It also won Best Actor, so it got two really good, prestigious Oscars. And the thing that ties it back to this, other than being from the same year, obviously, is it bothers me that Tom Hanks was nominated for Best Actor, but I feel, Tom Hanks. Was he? Yes, he was nominated for Best Actor. He didn't get it. I'm pretty sure I looked this up. Castaway was not nominated for Best Picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a little baffling to me.
Have you heard? And so, Gladiator, Chocolat, and Aaron Brockovich all were. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Traffic got the Best Picture nomination ahead of Castaway.
I don't know that I've heard either of those.
I've heard of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in a comedic context.
Okay.
And I've never heard
Like
of Traffic.
people making fun of it?
Yeah, not making fun, but just kind of like, I don't know, not holding it in high esteem, I guess. So I'm just bothered by this. I'm bothered that Castaway did not get a nomination for Best Picture. And I'm a little upset that Tom Hanks didn't win Best Actor, but I guess I can live with it because Russell Crowe was pretty good. He was pretty good.
It's it's not like the film that it did go to was garbage.
No, not at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, It's just one of those things. This movie really made me appreciate Castaway a lot more. And I was just a little upset. I'm a little, like, 20 years later, I'm upset that Tom Hanks didn't win Best Actor. And I'm really kind of upset.
So is he.
And I'm really upset that it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems odd.
Yeah. Anyway, just gonna let it go water under the bridge. Got to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's for your mental health. It's probably what's best.
Yeah.
I have something that I've been, so how you watch a movie and you're like, I've seen this movie a dozen times.
Yep.
I know it through and through. For me, that's Castaway.
Yep.
But then one time you watch it and for some reason the film just hits different. And you're like, I'm seeing something here that I've never seen before. I'm picking up on an overtone. I'm viewing this in a way that I've never allowed myself to view it before. Does that ever happen to you?
That happened. I'm not being sarcastic. That happened to me with Castaway.
Okay, perfect. Me too. So I have something that I watched Castaway like 3 days ago. And this has been burning, itching. This has been an itchy, I was gonna say itchy groin, but it's a family show. It's been really just So, if I were to say to you, true or false, Castaway is about a guy marooned on an island, and then he escapes, you would say.
Okay, I'm not being a tool or trying to be kind of like difficult. I would actually say false.
Okay, wait, and hang on. Is this like just as of this viewing? Like, did you have the same epiphany that I had?
Maybe I would say of this viewing or like of a more adult lens, yes. Like as a kid, I would have said true. It's just about a guy on an island.
It's a guy on an island, and then and I believed that until the other night. Where now I don't even think the title is about his time on the island. I think the island is just a plot device.
I'm sorry, you just blew my mind. Continue.
So it's a movie about a guy who overcomes adversities.
He does,
right? And they foreshadow that from the beginning when they talk about his truck broke down and he borrowed a kid's bike in order to complete his deliveries. Yep. So he's a guy who is resourceful and can pretty much deal with anything that life throws at him.
Yeah. Except a toothache.
And sorry?
Except for a toothache.
Right, except for a toothache. But even then, he's resourceful and he deals with it.
He does.
The one thing that he's never able to overcome, the one thing that he doesn't have a solution for, there's no workaround, is not having Kelly.
Yeah.
That is, I would say, by far the most horrible part for him being on the island, right? That is what he agonizes over, is that the picture and the watch and all these things. But so anyways, I think it's a movie about the importance of companionship.
Sure.
Wilson being obvious, I think there's a very strong case being made that if he hadn't come up with Wilson, he wouldn't have made it.
Sadly, yeah.
He wouldn't have made it at all. But so my hot take, the thing that I'm just like, holy crap, I can't believe I never grabbed this before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, a castaway is something we call someone on who's stranded on an island.
Sure.
Right? You're a castaway.
Yeah. That's what I'd call it.
What if but castaway, when you're a castaway on an island, is one word. You're a castaway. Or it's at the very least it's hyphenated. That is not the title of this movie. This movie is not called Castaway. It's called Cast Away. Because that is what his character feels. And that is what this whole movie, because if it really was about him on the island, then the scene with him sipping whiskey at the end, talking about how, you know, he was on the island and he wasn't with her, and now he's home. He made it defying all odds, everything he knew to be possible. Despite all of that, he made it off the island, and now he's lost her all over again. And so he has been cast away by this,
her.
Her,
Yeah.
Understandably, reasonable circumstances.
By virtues of fate.
Yes, by virtues of fate. But his feeling is not that he's a castaway. Mm-hmm. He was. Mm-hmm. That's part of his story.
Yep.
But he has been cast away. And I was like, holy hell. Like, oh my gosh, it just consumed me for the last few days.
That's
I'm like,
wild.
This is, and I'm like, absolutely. Because then I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, castaway. If you're a castaway on an island, if you are a castaway, the noun is one word. Sometimes a hyphenated word, sometimes just one word.
Sure.
But to be cast away, to cast something away. And that is what he is.
Yeah.
And he feels, because in his own broken mental state, when Wilson, he doesn't see it as him losing Wilson in the ocean. Mm-hmm. He sees it as Wilson leaving him.
Yeah.
As Wilson has cast him away. Wilson's given up on him and Wilson's left.
A bit of foreshadowing.
That's why he says, Wilson, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Come back, I'm sorry.
Almost some foreshadow there.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna sing it from the rooftops because it's made me view this movie entirely differently, and has made me fall in love with it all over again in a whole new way.
That's literally blown my mind, and I've never considered that, like, the significance of the title. That is incredible. That is incredible.
I always just thought, oh well, he's a castaway.
Yeah.
He's on an island. Castaway. Oh. No, he's cast away.
Oh. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, top that, Pete.
Where do we go from here? Like, what do we even check us?
And man. I don't know. You know what? I haven't looked it up. I want to look it up and see if there's any like behind the scenes stuff by Robert Zemeckis that validates that gives it some credibility. But yeah, man. Otherwise the title doesn't make any grammatical sense. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's my defense. As well, it must be, because otherwise your title's dumb.
Yeah. But your movie's good. Just the title's dumb.
But your movie's good. So what different light did you view it in then this time?
So I just want to add on to your one thing that'll right on your tailcoat a little bit, and then I'll go on a tangent. But it's the same as, and I got to get in Andrew's good books again, because I said Gladiator was inferior to Castaway. Don't want to estrange him. Which it is, in our opinion.
Sorry, Andrew.
We love you, but we just got to say it. The one thing I'll say is, one thing I noticed more about this viewing is that whole debate about like plot versus story. So like, something that people hate about Lord of the Rings is the 17 endings at the end, but the significance of it kind of like Castaway, is that there's like the plot where, you know, they go destroy a ring, he goes, gets stuck on the island, and then once that plot is over, the story isn't over. The story of him returning and finishing those loose ends, just like in Lord of the Rings, the story isn't over of our main protagonist. So that's something that stuck out to me this time for sure as a kid, that I kind of just overlooked the significance of what still had to be told after he got off the island.
Right.
So obviously I asked, does this film age well? Because I hadn't seen it in a long time and I was just genuinely curious. And there's a couple things I want to get into that I thought aged so incredibly well. And I think you'll be with me here on this. But the first is just, as a kid, I didn't appreciate the gravity of the situations. And I now watched it and there were times I was just uncomfortable. There were times I was just on the edge of my seat. There were times I just couldn't look at the screen.
You view it so much differently as an adult, right? Like when he's a kid, or when you're a kid and he like pierces his leg, you're like, oh gosh, that really hurts. And as an adult, all you're thinking is, oh, infection. Like, how are you? You're dead now.
You're dead.
It's gonna kill you.
Yep. There's so many things like that just hit me so hard. Like I have a little list here. Like the whole crash scene had me on. Like I watched it as a kid and I was like, yeah, okay. As an adult, I was just so uncomfortable.
This zooming in, when you see the water coming.
And just knowing the realities of mortal situations like this, like the fact that he survived. I think I was just so anxious, way more than I was as a kid. And there were some components to it. I know it's apples and oranges, but I looked at this scene and it was done so well that I thought it was in the same ballpark as some of the disaster scenes in Titanic, as far as done well and done in a way to communicate a theme to the audience.
And you know what's crazy?
What?
All of that entire crash scene, him in the raft in the storm in these like crazy rocking waters.
Yeah,
that's all shot indoors.
There's
some really cool behind the scenes Castaway stuff. It's all shot inside.
That's interesting, actually. But yeah,
on a big sound stage.
Stuff like that. Stuff that he even was lucky enough to find an island. The fact that he had the stones to ever go on a plane again when he was returning to Memphis. Like, there are some things that are just psychologically scarring that I just was like, wow, that would take a lot for me. And just all the things that when he was at home, when he'd have like a pocket knife on a keychain or a barbecue lighter, all these frivolous, silly things in modern day society that we just look at and throw in the trash, that would have made his life.
Had I had this.
Oh, it was just, not only did I appreciate it, but Tom Hanks just communicated it so well. So those like gravity of situations things aged well for me, and I think that's just me being mature, and the movie did it well. The one thing I want to hit on, and then I'll pass the baton back to you, is there was this whole theme about the FedEx, and it happened before the truck breaking down that you referenced to. But I loved the irony of his FedEx rant of 87 hours being an eternity for a package to be delivered. And then he goes to this island for a brief time where time is just completely irrelevant. Like, it is just such contrast and such just a change to him and what he valued and what he thought was important. And I love just how it comes to a head. Just, he has his pager and his pocket watch on the island, and they are just meaningless and just useless. And so those two things, the FedEx rant, that theme that was portrayed, and the gravity of the situations, I give it a chef's kiss. That aged well, and it was new to me. It was a new discovery to me.
Yeah. And I mean, he does create, true to his character, he creates a very sophisticated calendar system. Using the pinhole of light.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. You know, there's so many things. If this podcast episode were to have a theme, I think it would be the things you view in this film as a kid versus the things you see as an adult.
Yep.
And so, you know what? It's stuff like that. It's stuff like having seen this movie, there's the moment that gives me chills
Okay.
is when he's leaving the car,
Okay.
and the last thing he says to her is, "I'll be right back." And you know it's going to be 4 years. And you know what he's going to go through, and you know what she's going to go through, and you know. And so that's a big one. Him crying because he's leaving the island. Even though all he wants is to get off this damn island.
Yep.
He's now sailing away from the only thing he's known for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something that as a kid you don't appreciate in the same way. So I think for me the biggest change, and this is something that like this isn't a universal change from kids to adults, because I know there's lots of adults out there that would fight me on this, are going to disagree with what I have to say.
Sure.
So at the end, Chuck comes. Obviously, he has an encounter with Kelly at the house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they kiss.
Sure do.
And there's almost this brief let's just run away and live the life we were gonna live moment. Mm-hmm. And then she comes to her senses and realizes, or decides, that she wants to stay with the family she has. Because really, I mean, she didn't have to, right? We could argue all day whether that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. We can argue whether, you know, whether her marriage, now knowing that Chuck is alive and he's out there, whether or not that marriage is destined to fail because she'll always carry a torch for Chuck. Like, who knows, right? That's all. You could argue that all day and never get anywhere.
Sure.
But as a kid, I always thought when they kissed, when they have this moment, I always thought to myself, oh, it always really bothered me. And I always looked at Kelly as, you cheating monster. You horrible, horrible, unfaithful monster. You have a husband in the house. You have a kid in the house. How dare you? How, like, you know, as a kid, I was like, you know, because then you think about like your own parents and stuff. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just upsetting.
Yep.
As an adult, and I understand that there's adults that still that's still their mindset, that she was totally in the wrong.
Yep.
And whatever. As an adult, I've had this perspective shift. I think you age and you start to understand that emotions and relationships are far more complicated than we thought they were as kids. That it's not this black and white thing.
Right.
That there is no simple answer. So now as an adult, as a 28-year-old adult, do I think that what Kelly does is cheating? I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but I also don't think... I think that if her husband were to find out about it and leave her, I think he would also be in the wrong. Because fundamentally what I've arrived at is it's an impossible situation that she's in.
For sure.
I can't even begin to wrap my head around, you know, around this situation.
It's
the new husband acknowledges it. He says this is a very confusing time for her. And you know what? If I were in that same situation where if I had a fiance who because that's essentially what they were. He was going to propose. It was an engagement ring in that package.
Oh, yeah.
If my fiance had been marooned on an island for 4 years and I had never given up hope. I didn't ever fully believe that they were dead. And I had like newspaper clippings and I'd like mapped charts and all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, despite all odds, they are thrust violently back into existence, back into my life, into my kitchen at 11 o'clock at night. You would, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying every single person in the world would then kiss that person. But I am saying if they didn't, it would be an exercise in self-restraint. Because you haven't had, even if you've had closure, even if you've gone, well, they're dead. When all of a sudden they're not dead anymore, you would just be surrounded with all of those feelings. As she says, you're the love of my life. I've never stopped loving you. I moved on because you were dead. I didn't marry this guy and these kids because I didn't, and have this kid because I don't love you. But because everyone told me you were gone. And now you're not gone. And, so that's just an interesting shift. As a kid, I was like, Kelly's totally in the wrong. And this is cheating. And it's not okay. And as an adult, I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's not like they didn't have sex, right?
No,
she didn't sleep with him.
Yep.
She kissed him. A kiss has as much weight as you give it, right? A kiss is literally a kiss is like anything else. A kiss is like a hug in that it carries as much weight as you give it. And there are world cultures all over the place, and I'd argue in this kiss film, each other, and it's not a romantic thing. Yeah,
and I'd argue in this film, like, I'm not even sure a kiss would be the most relevant thing to do when these two are kind of rejoining or reconnecting. Like, I think in this circumstance in the film, it might have just been a technique of showing their feelings for one another, and I maybe some people would that be their first immediate response, but I'm arguing just like I think that might have been a film technique.
Yeah, and maybe. I mean, all the elements were there. It was pouring rain.
Oh yeah,
it was right. Like it was, but yeah, no. You know what? I'm as an adult, I'm of the opinion. I don't think. Was it an ideal situation? No, but it wasn't an ideal situation in any regard. It was a very complicated, emotional, confusing situation. I don't think she can be faulted for what she did. And I also don't think, I don't think that if 3 or 4 months down the road, her marriage she just wasn't in it. She just could no longer be a part of that marriage. It's awful. It's awful. Absolutely. But we're not talking about, just someone else came along and she decided she wanted this person instead. This is like this is like an impossible to navigate situation, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And if that situation had led to her marriage to this guy, to the doctor, dentist guy, had Chuck's return led to eventually her no longer being with her husband and her someday ending up with Chuck, again, it's horrible. Divorce is always horrible. But again, I don't think it would immediately just make her a bad person, or I don't think it's just like, oh, well, you're so frivolous. You just left your husband because. So, yeah, it's that's so interesting to me. And this is the first time I've seen this movie in a bit.
Right.
And so I think it's the first time I viewed that scene fully with that kind of willingness to see it from her perspective.
Oh, it's such a convoluted, complicated brew of emotions because, it's just so different from two people mutually parting ways because of a relationship kind of running its course. Like, it's just a raw relationship that's just kind of been severed and then reconnected, or at least put in the same room again where things left off. And it's just so complicated all around, because then we see I know it wasn't Spalding, but he was like a dentist and whatever the new husband's name
Yeah,
is.
Spalding referred
yeah.
Chuck to him at some point for like a root canal or something.
Yeah. And we see them at the airport and he intervenes. Like he doesn't, I wouldn't say he's not supportive. I wouldn't say he's hands off, but he's definitely somewhere in the gray middle where
He doesn't want the two of them
he doesn't want the two of them to meet up. And, you know, it's such a complicated situation. I can't necessarily blame him. Like from Tom Hanks' perspective, it's heartbreaking. But from the new guy's perspective, who also has done no wrong, it's also a very complicated situation. So from all three of these individuals, like it's weird to call it a love triangle, but from all their perspectives, it is so complicated, like incredibly complicated.
I think his actions are based, like the husband, I think his actions are definitely based in like insecurity and jealousy,
And-
but I
time.
don't blame him.
It very
Right.
very much in self-preservation relationship mode. And you're right, you
Because
can't blame him.
He
You can't-
knows she loves him still.
for sure. But
He
again,
knows she's-
that's why it's so complicated too, because it's not like she's just frivolously moved on, or you know, you can't fault someone for doing something in this situation. Like she would have true, meaningful feelings for him, and vice versa. Like it is so emotionally complicated. It is.
Can we talk about the ending? Because
Yeah.
because I've put more thought into the ending. Again, this was a big Castaway viewing for me.
Well,
I've put more thought into the ending than I ever have before.
So can I
It's
pose
kind of an ambiguous ending.
Well, so let me pose it because I've got it on a list to talk about later. Can I just ask my kind of rhetorical question, and then I think that might lead into you, because I don't have an answer. So one of the questions I had was just the significance of this woman, and obviously she has this package that he values the purpose of delivering it, and he finally does deliver it, and it's the same woman from the beginning who sent a package to her cheating husband, and yada yada yada. I don't remember this film being so ambiguous in the ending, and that's literally all I have to say. Like that, I'm just curious what we are to interpret about their interaction, like which is literally 3 seconds, and where we are, like what we're supposed to learn from his story is the credits roll. And I'm curious to chat about this ending.
Well, and so because I kind of figured I was watching, you know, because she gives him the 4 options. This is the direction that this goes. This is the direction that goes. Yada yada.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to figure. I was watching closely because I was like, I want to see, because he seems to clearly. He seems to make a clear choice, right? The final direction that he looks, which is towards the camera, he smiles, kind of like that's the direction he's going with. And I'm fairly certain, having watched it, that he's looking in the direction where she said, and if you head back the way you came, there's a whole lot of nothing until you hit Canada. Now, I don't think he's headed to Canada. I don't think that's what he's smiling about, although he should.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
But that's also the direction she's driven in.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know if it seems weird that, because he's going to show up, you know, what's going to happen? He's going to show up and be like, hey, your package saved my life. I love you. And she's going to be like,
calling the cops.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, hey, I'm not into dudes, dude. Like, or whatever. Like, you know, or I'm married, or gee, I don't know. You know, thanks. Like, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm a sucker for if I were to give this film a critique.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for not necessarily healthy endings, but like the romantic ending.
Sure.
So as beautiful and genius as I think his ending of, like, you know, what I had to do on the island, and because he has this whole monologue when he's sitting there sipping whiskey, and he's talking about how he almost hung himself and all of this stuff, and how he literally had power over nothing. And this is the same conversation where he talks about how he's lost Kelly again, and what he says is, I just have to keep breathing. Right? He compares surviving the loss of his relationship with Kelly to surviving on the island, right? As a very isolating feeling. He's alone. And all he has to do is keep breathing, because tomorrow the sun's going to come up again, and yada, yada. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ending.
Sure.
But I'd be lying if I didn't say, I wish Kelly had left her husband.
Yeah.
And got in the car and drove off with him. And and it's awful because she's got a kid. And maybe that's the one thing. Maybe the kid is what complicates that. Maybe the kid is what would have made it horrible. And you could infer that, I don't know, she would figure things out legally and like custody and who knows, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, but part of me, like, I'm just a sucker for, it breaks my heart that Chuck and Kelly don't end up together. Because you want that.
Yep.
You want they're meant to be. And it reminds me, I'm rewatching Friends. And there's an episode where Joey finds out that his dad has a mistress. And it turns out to not be a big deal because Joey's mom knows that Joey's dad has a mistress, and she's fine with it because he's happier and more attentive and all this stuff.
Sure.
And so Joey and Chandler, it's throwing Joey into a bit of an existential crisis because he's like, I'm a ladies' man and I'm a bit of a player, but I always thought that like when the chips were on the table, I would be able to stand up and be a stand-up guy and go the distance. And Chandler says to him, I have no doubt that when the right woman comes along, you'll have the ability to say, no thanks, I'm married. And it was just like this really fun, but it kind of reminded me of that, where I'm like, she's with the wrong guy. The admirable thing, I guess, is to stay in your marriage, but then, is it? Because it's like, I don't know, if you both were going to be happier with we're back on that. I don't want to be back on that, but
life's complicated, man.
I don't know what the ending is. I don't know it seems like he's heading in the same direction. He's going to like turn around.
Yep.
And either go to Canada or go try his luck with this other woman, which I don't think is right because I don't think that's what he's doing, because it seems to completely invalidate and just take all of the juice out of the feelings that he has for Kelly. If all of a sudden he's like, oh well, what about this one? But I don't know. Maybe that's not even the direction. Like maybe I'm thinking I know what direction he's heading in, and maybe the direction he's heading in doesn't matter. Maybe what matters is he's headed down a new road.
Yeah, and it's ambiguous,
it's the
right?
Next
because
chapter.
we don't know. Like he could just drive down there and not say, "Hey, you're the next one." Like they could just be two human beings connecting over a shared experience of what's in this package. Because I'm curious what's in the package. I don't even know, but
yeah,
you're right. Like it's very, very open ended. Very.
Can you imagine if it had been a bomb? Like it was like a letter bomb,
or I was gonna say like a cell phone or something.
Set for 4 years time, and like
what?
And she gets home and like sees it on her thing. She's like, "Oh my god, no!"
That would be so ironic because it saved his life at the expense of hers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Soundtrack. Talk to me about soundtrack. You're the soundtrack guy.
Yeah, this movie kind of sucks as far as soundtrack.
What?
Just completely joking. Incredible soundtrack. It's I actually was listening to it a bit earlier today, and there was a couple scenes I rewatched today just as time permitted, and they were key emotional scenes, and it does it so well. Man, it's I didn't even look. I don't think it was nominated for an Oscar, but it definitely could have been in my books if I was on the nomination committee. But yeah, this one is like a chef's kiss. The last few you've thrown my way, you've said, "Hey Pete, what do you think of the soundtrack?" And we've had a few in a row where I'm just like, yeah, it's there. It does stuff. This one is just incredible. It doesn't tell the audience. I feel like I've heard this before. A good soundtrack doesn't tell the audience what to feel or what to do, but it just kind of helps kind of accentuate a scene or kind of build an atmosphere. And this movie did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Sure.
What amazes me about this movie, and I don't know if everybody notices this or if I've just got a keen ear. I didn't notice it. You enlightened me. Right. But you noticed it this time.
This time only because I was made aware. Yes.
Right. So there's some music at the beginning of the movie, just like some either in Russia. There's like some fun Russian stuff happening. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
And then from the time he gets on the island, right up until the moment he gets past the break wall and looks back on the island. He finally escapes the island's clutches and gets past the break wall and looks back on the island, and then music starts. But in that gap, the entire time he's within the clutches of the island, there's no soundtrack whatsoever.
Which is incredible.
There is no music. And I think it goes such a long way towards it's totally an artistic choice, and it's done to make you feel isolated.
Oh yeah.
To demonstrate how segregated from society he is. There's no music. There's just the elements.
Yeah.
It's just him and the elements.
Yep.
Oh man, this is a good movie.
It's so good.
You were talking about Titanic, and I was thinking today something that this film and Titanic hold in common for me, because I said it when we did the Titanic one.
Sure.
Over a year ago.
Yeah. Almost 100 episodes
ago. I just
ago.
watched this. Yeah. I just watched this.
Okay.
I would definitely sit and watch it again tonight.
That's cool. Wow.
I could watch it 2 nights in a row. And just be as sucked in and as engaged.
I'm not quite at the same level. Like for me, there's a couple specific films, but I'm very close. When I rewatched a few scenes of Castaway, it definitely fell into the category. I was not fatigued of it. So
right.
Yeah.
Are you ready to rate this thing, or you got something else written down there?
Couple more things I want to run through that I do just want to hit on. The first is the scenes that blew me away that I want to say are not the Wilson crying scene. And I don't know if I've seen the movie in that film. Like I've seen that scene so many times that I think I might be a little fatigued of that one in specific. And it's a shame because it's such a raw and emotional scene where this man is just like bawling like an infant. And it's not that I hated the scene. It's just, it didn't touch me as much as it probably should have. But there's 2 scenes that my hot take is that are more powerful than that. So the first, you hit on this. It's right at the end when Tom Hanks returns to Helen after their exchange, where he drives off and he comes back a few seconds later and they embrace in the pouring rain, and nudge to the soundtrack, it balloons up and it all comes together. Oh, yeah. I literally teared up in that scene because I let that scene just breathe and have its full influence as it should have. So that, I would say that one was more impactful for me than the Wilson scene. This one, it was a more subtle one, and it might be more specific to me, but it's when he's returned. So before the rain scene, they're in the house together, and he's in the house with Helen Hunt, and he returns that watch to her, and he says, and I wrote this down because it just really hit me. He says, "It's a family heirloom, and it should stay in your family." And
then
just
backs away.
And he backs away. And just the implications of that. Like, I let that breathe. And it's just like, your family. He's no longer part of it. Tom Hanks, and just the way Tom Hanks delivered that line. And he gave this specific look when he did it. And he backed away. And it was so subtle. And it just...
It seemed like he was trying to hold back tears himself.
Oh, it was just, he had these looks and mannerisms, and so that, my point is, that scene and the one in the rain, but specifically that one was light years ahead of the Wilson scene. And that scene in particular is why I'm a little upset Tom Hanks didn't win Best Actor, because it was such an emotionally riveting scene. So both of those just hit it out of the ballpark for me. The only thing, and the last thing, this is more rhetorical, so unless you have an idea about significance, or maybe a listener does and they can comment on it, and it could just be like a theme that's in a movie and there's nothing more to it. I was just curious about the whole significance of the whale sequences, and there were 3 that I wrote down, and maybe I missed one, but when he gets off the island and he's on his raft, I'll just call it eye contact. He kind of makes eye contact with a whale, or he's looking at a whale and it's looking back at him. Then there's an incident where the whale splashes him and it awakens Tom Hanks, and that awakens him to Wilson's departure. And then there's another splash that awakens him, and then that's when he's rescued on the ocean liner. And I was just curious, like, if this was just a random theme or element that was weaved through that sequence of the film, or if there's something significant or something bigger here. I don't know. I'm just kind of asking rhetorically. I think it's probably just a theme. I can't think of a reason that explains it, but it was something that as a kid, I just was like, oh, it's what random whale scenes. And this time I'm like, okay, no, there's got to be a reason, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. And it's the one part that feels awkward to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's just like, the eye contact part. You're like, oh, what's going on here?
Right.
Because it's not like the CG on the whale also doesn't hold up. So it just kind of like all of a sudden you're like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so then if there's a meaning, I've missed it.
Sure.
And as a result of not knowing the meaning, it just feels like an overuse of whale.
Sure. You could say the director had a whale of a time.
Yeah. I did want to say, so those are the moments that made you cry. No, I did want to say those were the moments that made you cry.
Ooh,
my friend.
Yep. Who hadn't seen it, you said.
Who hadn't seen it. Whole different moment.
Oh.
They cried, and I was like, really? They cried when he's back at the hotel.
Sure. Oh.
And there's great moments. So you were talking about like things that he wish he'd had, and how that would have made his life. These little trivial things. And then, but the reverse of that, I think, is interesting. Is the things that he did have that are now no longer luxuries, like the crab legs.
Right.
He picks up a crab leg and he looks at it and he tosses it down like if I never see another freaking crab leg again. But the moment that made this friend of mine cry is when he's sleeping on the ground and he's using the lamp to turn the light on and off of the watch, just like he did in the cave.
Right. Yep.
And I was like, wow. And they were just like, because it shows he's just so committed to her. She really is just his world.
Yeah.
It's also the last time, I'm sure he knows at this point, He's about to say goodbye to this watch.
Yeah.
His favorite picture that he took of her and this watch. And which is also, so powerful that he gives her the watch because it's been really, it is the only thing that he takes to the island that he also brings off of the island with him.
Right.
Nothing else. He doesn't take any of his clothing at that point. He's got like a loincloth. He doesn't take his beeper, any of that.
Yeah.
None of the stuff that he took to the island comes back to civilization with him except for this watch. And so he's literally, because he's been dead for 4 years.
Yeah.
Not only is he returning a family heirloom to her, in that moment, he gives her his only possession. It's the only thing he owns.
Wow.
And all of the memories this watch has got him through.
And I'd take it a step further because I think this also marks the junction of time where he can, like, this probably marks the last time he can go to sleep flashing the light at her picture. Because from here on, where they have that encounter, from here on out, if he does any more obsessing over her, and it's not obsessing, that's an awful word, but if he fixates on her anymore, it's no longer healthy. Like, it's no longer healthy for anyone. Creepy. And not even just creepy. Like, it's just not going to help him resolve his issues. It's not going to help her. And it's just, it's an interesting point because that hotel scene really is significant for both those reasons of this is an emotional point where he maybe doesn't fully realize it, but he has to emotionally let go and move on at that point. But also that intimate object of the watch. That's interesting. I kind of skimmed over that.
And he says in his monologue to that guy sipping whiskey, he says, "I'm just so thankful that she was on the island with me."
Yep.
Because had she not been, I don't know. Because that's what it was. It was about, getting off the island was never about self-preservation.
No.
It was about getting back to Kelly.
Yep.
And he got back to find out that he couldn't have her.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, rank the film.
So when I rank it, I'll say, I know what I have to do now. Got to keep breathing because tomorrow the sun will rise. Who knows what the tide could bring? I had to write that down. It's so good. Such a good scene. Good. It's such a good scene. Again, I apologize for Andrew or anyone who takes offense to this, but this movie is so good. I think it's better than Gladiator. I have to say it. I have to.
Yep.
I now don't even remember what I rated Gladiator, but on my scale, I gave Castaway an 8.8, and I think it's applicable to my scale. My scale says, how much effort do you want to put into a movie? It's in the top tier. I would get a babysitter. I'd pay all of the money to see it in a theater. And at the end, I'd say...
Can you imagine?
I'd say time and money well spent, brother. Oof.
This thing in the theater?
Yeah.
I would, because sometimes they put like old movies like this in the theater. I am there in a heartbeat.
On Marshall's scale, a more traditional like 0 to 10 scale, friend of the show, I gave it an 8, maybe a 9. So regardless how you cut it, it's in the 8 to 9 range in both my scales. Something of significance. It does not crack my top 10, I don't think, but it does... in a healthy way, crack the top 25 at least at today's date.
Was this film in my top 10?
You score it and then I'll tell you because I actually have that list in front of me.
Do you really?
Well, I've got all the Word docs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
9.8. I give this film a 9.8, and the only reason I don't give it a 10 for two reasons. One is because I've been getting a little little wild and crazy with my tens, and I don't want to do that.
Sure.
Because I'm fundamentally against that.
You are.
And also because I don't understand the overuse of whale. If someone can explain the whale to me and give me some deeper meaning, then that might bump it up to a 9.9.
Wow.
Yeah, 9.8. There's this film, with the exception of confusing whale stuff, I think it's flawless. Like, what would you change?
Yeah. So literally just the whale thing for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it in my top 10?
No.
If not, I feel like it was an honorable mention.
It probably was. I don't have your honorable mentions, but it was not top 10.
Okay. All right. You set this up. I set this up all the time. I'm sick of setting this up.
Well, we are going to hear from friend of the show, Andrew, who is going to tell us, before he tells us what he watched and leading into that segment, he's also going to give us some detalia on his impression of Castaway. And he'll do that.
Detalia?
I don't know.
Why did you make it sound gross?
Well, I didn't mean to, and then it came out of my... He's going to give us some details about Castaway and his perception of it. Then he'll say, hey, and also I watched, and hey, guys, what did you watch? And then he'll kind of lead us into our section.
Yeah. Just like that.
I guess the main reason why we are attracted to survival scenarios is to see what would we ourselves have done if we were in those situations. Do you know how to open a coconut without a knife? Because I certainly don't. On another level, there's also a philosophical idea about what is the most important thing in life, and having a hope beyond hope. Or maybe just to live our lives one day at a time. Apart from the 90s pager, this movie also ages very well. Also, there's the iconic and horrific dental procedure which made this very memorable and uncomfortable. I would grade Castaway an 8 out of 10. This week I rewatched 1996 The First Wives Club. Being a child of that era, there's something comforting from watching 90s movies. I don't know why, it's like a warm blanket. The movie is about getting even with your ex, wrapped in a witty and sophisticated comedy. It's a really funny movie actually. Started by 4 iconic actors, Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, Diane Keaton, and of course the great, the fabulous Maggie Smith. It's one of a few films I rewatch over the years. To quote the movie, it's a genius, a gem. What did you watch this week?
Wow. Okay.
And before we say anything, I just want to say,
Sure.
if you want to have your audio clip
Right.
on this show,
Yes.
email it to themoviemanpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And just be like, hey, my name's Billy Bob from Missouri. This week I watched
Transformers.
Human Centipede.
Ah, ha, ha.
What did you guys watch? And then, we'll put it in the show. And
will.
you'll be entered into like future giveaways.
Draws and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Shit like that.
Yeah. So, thank you, Andrew. And very, very good to hear from you. Get to your thoughts on Castaway. And I'll answer the question, shall I?
Yeah. Tell us what you watched.
Okay. I watched a lot this week. So usually the last few weeks I've just been kind of rolling the dice back to you and saying your turn. I've continued, and I know I can already sense the eyes rolled at the back of your head, but I've continued on Lost. We're on season 2. It's quite applicable that we're watching, like a lot of the things we were watching were in line with Castaway, just as far as the setting and some contextual similarities, but we've continued on season 2 of Lost.
Once again, Castaway is better than Lost.
I've taken great offense to many a Lost things you've said, but that is something I probably wouldn't argue with, just because to me it's a bit different, and I would probably agree that Castaway is better, but it's too hard to. Right. No one can know. Who can know such things? I watched 3 other films. Holy Hannah. Okay, I watched Badlands, from 1973. It was an interesting film. It starred Charlie Sheen's dad, Martin Sheen, who I didn't realize was Charlie Sheen's dad. Very interesting, very interesting movie.
And the father of Emilio Estevez.
Who?
Emilio Estevez, the jock from Breakfast Club, the guy from Mighty Ducks. That's Charlie Sheen's brother.
No way.
Yeah, so Charlie's birth name, Sheen is a stage name. It's an acting name. It's his father's stage name, and so Charlie took it on as well.
Sure.
Charlie Sheen's actual birth name is Carlos Estevez.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go. See, the more you know.
The more you know. Anyway, I watched Badlands from 73. It had a young 25-year-old Martin Sheen. It was a Terrence Malick film, one of his first films. Interesting film, interesting view. I watched 2 more films. So, I was jam-packed in comparison to this week. I watched 2 films that are both the second films of trilogies. I watched Bad Boys 2, which...
Okay.
It was okay.
It's not as good as Bad Boys 1.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, I've never seen them before, so there's nostalgia. There's nothing there for me.
I haven't seen the third one yet.
I haven't
Boys
either.
For Life or something?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely just I wasn't there for it as far as the first one had some kind of corny 90s-ness to it, so I drank it up for what it was. This one had a couple moments, but definitely not worth the whole making the whole viewing being whoa, that was amazing. So that was the one film I watched. The other and the last thing I watched was The Matrix Reloaded. After we reviewed The Matrix, I was I'm gonna take the pill that makes me go into the Matrix, and I can't remember what color it is, and I feel kind of embarrassed to say that out loud, but whatever pill it was, took it. It's not a bad movie, and again, I said this in our review. The second and third Matrixes aren't bad, or if they are, I can't comment on them because I haven't seen the third one recently. So it wasn't that it was bad, but it does make me wish that The Matrix was just a standalone film. It just gets a little...
It gets weird.
It gets a little tacky, and there's some things where they, in the first one, there's here's some anomalies about life that we explain about being in a computer program, and there's some things that they try to do in the second movie, and it's okay, I guess that's kind of interesting, but I think we've beat this dead horse a little bit. Let's I
think you have to suspend disbelief too much moving forward. In the first one, you're oh, okay, yeah, sure, that's crazy. And the second one, you've got the twins and stuff, and you're I don't understand their relevance,
and it gets a little
how that makes sense within the program,
and just the whole plot gets a little convoluted, and it's okay, now you're just really leaning into it. Maybe more story needed to be told, but did we need 2 more films? And I would have been so much feeling stronger about the original one just being standalone that it would have just been such an artistic merit just to be wow, that was an interesting story that had a definitive end, or at least a definitive that's the end of the story we need to see. And yeah, I don't regret on it. I don't hate on it. It is what it is. And the first one is by far artistically the most accomplished of the 2. Anyway, I haven't seen the third one, but yeah. So lot of second films, and Charlie Sheen's dad is what I watched this week. What did you watch this week?
So interestingly, the only things I've watched this week are also sequels.
Interesting.
Are also second installments. So I watched the second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah. The rewatch continues.
The rewatch. And I watched the second Jackass movie.
Okay.
I don't know what is with this week, man. But I'm over the moon because the first trailer for Jackass Forever dropped today. And it's everything I want it to be. It's
nice.
Oh my goodness, it's glorious. Yeah. I'm going to show it to my girlfriend tonight, the trailer, and she'll be excited.
Here, when you said you only watched sequels this week, I thought you were going to say you had seen Castaway 2.
No, there's no, I would throw up on myself if they announced tomorrow.
Chuck, you don't want to
know.
see Chuck owning like a little coffee shop or like running a booth at a farmer's market?
He gets on a boat and oh shit, it's happening again. Like,
Oh, yeah.
this time he puts some googly eyes on a hockey puck and he's like, it's just, it doesn't carry the same, the same weight. Or this time maybe Helen Hunt's stuck on an island, and she comes back and Tom Hanks is there to say, sorry, sister, I got married. What do you want?
Right.
Get off my lawn.
And Spalding's
so there for that.
The dentist is still fixing root canals somewhere.
Yeah. Wrap it up, sir.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe on all our various social media posts below. Give us a good rate and review wherever you're listening. Giving us a good plug on Apple Podcasts just really helps kind of the algorithm and helps other people find the show.
Help us cheat the Matrix.
Help us cheat it. Please check out our Patreon and merchandise page below and feel free to help support the show. Help us keep the lights
Buy a
on.
mug.
Help us cover costs. Thank you to all our existing patrons, and shout outs to Brenna, Marshall, Andrew, Daphne. We really appreciate everyone who helps us maintain and grow the show. And until next time,
Can I say something so quick about Daphne?
Please.
So as you may know, I have this like side hustle, not even like my gaming YouTube channel, but
Sure.
I've got like a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
like normal videos. And in Canada, I don't know if they've done this in the States, but in Canada, they've recently released these like craft dinner, like mac and cheese flavor boosts.
Yep.
And I wanted to get all 6 of them and do 6 YouTube review them.
Nice.
Make them and whatever. And I had tracked down 5 out of the 6,
Oh,
and I could not find the 6th one.
Dang.
But Daphne is mailing me a pack
What a homie.
so that right?
Right?
I feel like, and I told her this. I was like, I feel like Thanos, and I just got the Soul Stone or Mind Stone. That was the last one I needed.
Right.
Was the Mind Stone.
Right.
And now I can snap and kill half of everyone. I don't know. This got dark.
Goodbye.